Hi, I'm Jeanette Roche. This is Forum Daily West. Here are some of the top stories we've been following. The former CEO of Alberta Health Services files a lawsuit against the province for wrongful dismissal. Plus, Donald Trump rolls out plans for reciprocal tariffs, saying it will be fair to all. And as we approach the 3-year anniversary of Freedom Convoy, we speak with the organizer who could face 10 years in prison. Thanks so much for joining us. American President Donald Trump has rolled out his plan to increase U.S. tariffs to match the tax rate that other countries charge on imports. Trump says he will charge a reciprocal tariff that will be fair to all, adding that, quote, no other country can complain. The move could possibly trigger a broader economic confrontation with allies and rivals alike, as a dramatic hike on tariffs could send shockwaves through the world economy. The tariffs increase would likely be paid by Americans either directly or in the form of higher prices. It comes as Canadian leaders have been making a diplomatic push to stop Trump's threatened tariffs on Canadian imports.
President Trump just announced a new round of tariffs. He describes these as reciprocal tariffs. Essentially, if there's a country that has a tax on American exports to their country, America will put an equivalent tariff on imports from their country. This could have a dramatic effect on American trading partners and really upend a lot of economic trade all over the world. You could see higher prices for consumers with these tariffs, and a change in what products are available and how much they cost for consumers, as they are already dealing with a period of inflation that President Trump has promised to stop.
With tariffs looming in the foreseeable future, many Canadians are left wondering how they will be impacted. Dr. Danny Leroy, Associate Professor of Economics at the University of Lethbridge, explains it in simple terms.
In this discussion with the consequence of Trump's tariffs, it's important to remember the people involved. And the people who are directly impacted first and foremost are those individuals in the United States who wish to buy products produced in Canada. And these are the people who are paying import taxes on those goods. It's individuals who are paying taxes on these imported goods.
Catch more of my interview with economics professor Dr. Danny Leroy coming up later on in the program. Canada's territorial premiers say it's a critical time for the Arctic. They met today with representatives from Greenland in Washington, where Canadian leaders continue their diplomatic push against threatened U.S. tariffs. The leaders spoke about prospects for collaboration between Canada and the United States on resource development and security. It's become increasingly clear from President Donald Trump's repeated comments about the United States somehow absorbing Canada and Greenland that he has an eye on Arctic resources. Liberal leadership candidate Mark Carney has made his pitch to help tackle Canada's housing affordability crisis. He's vowing to incentivize prefabricated and modular home building.
We can speed up, increase speeds by 20 to 50%, reduce waste by almost 50% in the construction process, reduce emissions over the course of the production process and the lifetime of the building by 20%, and really get housing for people more rapidly, more efficiently, more cheaply, again, cost reductions of over 25%, and build true Canadian technology that not just serves Canadians here, but ultimately serves around the world.
Meanwhile, rival candidate Chrystia Freeland says she has a plan to woo back Canadian doctors and nurses practicing in the U.S. Her campaign says if the U.S. moves ahead with tariffs, she'll offer doctors $200,000 and nurses $100,000 to return home to Canada. Karina Gold, Ruby Dalla, and Frank Bilas are also in the race to become the next leader, which takes place on March the 9th. There's also an election in Ontario brewing, and the Greens are the first party to release a fully costed platform.
The Ontario Greens platform is fighting for a fair future for all of us. Our plan addresses the fairness that we need to build affordable homes and protect renters, bring fairness back to our healthcare and education systems, to protect the prime farmland that feeds us, and lower your energy bills and reduce climate pollution.
When we return, we'll have more of the top stories from the West with Forum Daily West. Three years ago, a trucker convoy swept across Canada to meet in Ontario in a joint effort to end COVID mandates. And February 14th is the third anniversary of the invocation of the Emergencies Act that shut down the Freedom Rally. Co-organizer of the trucker convoy, Chris Barber, who could still face up to 10 years in prison, gives his thoughts on what took place in Ottawa 3 years ago.
Well, the protest in Ottawa was one of the most peaceful protests in Canadian history. There was no violence. There was no level of violence. The only violence we've seen was from law enforcement acting under Justin Trudeau's, orders to break up the protest and not listen to Canadians who were trying to voice an opinion against the overreach that was happening throughout COVID.
Catch my full interview with Chris Barber, co-organizer of the Freedom Convoy, coming up after Business News. The former head of Alberta Health Services is suing the provincial government, alleging wrongful dismissal and high-level government corruption surrounding medical contracts. A statement of claim alleges that Athana Mentzalopoulos was fired last month for investigating overpriced contracts and conflicts of interest between government staff and companies being contracted. The lawsuit alleges Health Minister Adriana LaGrange tried to shut down the investigation and demanded Mentzalopoulos be fired. The allegations have not been proven in court, and LaGrange says many of them are false, while others will need to be investigated. 3 human traffickers have been arrested in what Alert, or Alberta's law enforcement response team, is calling Project Endgame. Take a look at this video produced out of Red Deer.
Project Endgame was a human trafficking investigation that started in Edmonton, but it had spanned across Canada. And the targets of the Endgame have been involved in human trafficking across Canada for upwards of a decade. Proactively targeted these individuals because we knew their involvement, and we knew that the violence that they bring to this type of crime across the country, we knew that we had to do something to stop this from happening. Very significant charges that these 3 individuals are facing. The investigation showed us that these targets are very violent. They're willing to do almost anything to the victims to keep control of them and preyed on their vulnerabilities and weaknesses. It's been over a year from start to finish, and we still aren't done yet. We still have a lot to do with the court process and with the victims in the future.
In local news, if you're in downtown Lethbridge, you may notice the presence of more police officers. Ryan DeRoque, sergeant with Lethbridge Police Service, says the downtown police unit is adding 6 officers and a sergeant. The unit provides first response to incidents and participates in proactive initiatives to address both criminal activity and social disorder.
We've seen a positive impact of some more proactive interactions with the public and targeting specific negative social disorder behaviors like open drug use, some violent events, and we've seen a significant impact on property crimes of thefts that have been stopped in the middle of like a shoplifting event from one of our local businesses, and multiple charges in relation to several theft events too. But keeping in mind, with these extra resources that we have been able to deploy downtown, we have curbed some of that behavior already, especially when it comes to open drug use. When it comes to drug use, like meth and fentanyl are our main drugs here in Lethbridge, and our officers respond to, if someone calls in that someone's openly using drugs in a doorway or on a sidewalk, we'll respond when we can. The main thing that I'm pushing with this team is we are responding to an event or doing proactive patrols. We see the behavior, we stop and address it when we can.
Is to make a downtown safer. Like, I love this downtown, like I've said multiple times, and I want people to be able to walk around and not have to look over their shoulder or feel upset about looking at something that they shouldn't have to see. Right? I mean, it's a reality in our world that we're in right now with the drug use and that's going on. But if I can make those steps to make it a little bit safer for them and for the business owners to work in peace, that's what my goal is. Our transient population, our drug using population is just as important as the regular population for us, right? If they want to get better, we are able to help them with that initiative and get them into programming.
The sergeant says the unit will also focus on combating open drug use and issues that impact downtown. Nearly 60 Bachelor of Criminal Justice students at Lethbridge Polytechnic are participating in a research project with real-life problems. This initiative helps them improve critical research skills and strengthen intentional community connections. Dr. Kristen Fantazier is an instructor with Lethbridge Polytechnic School of Justice Studies. She explains how this research project works.
And what they're trying to do is looking at a real-life problem that they potentially could solve or look into through research. Well, I think what differentiates our programs from others is that we actually have them working on a real-life issue or challenge or opportunity in the field, and having a project mentor assigned to them who is in the field and actually has that experience. They can give that insight, that guidance, and maybe even sometimes support or resources into what they're looking into. And it makes it real. It's different than sitting in a classroom or studying journal articles. The issues and the topics they're looking at are they're very actionable and current.
As a capstone project, this is really a great opportunity for students to engage in that critical thinking and communication skills and further developing them. Again, it really helps to tie in with our imperatives in terms of creating deliberate community connections, exceptional student experiences, and again, adapting to dynamic responsive programs. So these research projects, although they're smaller scale, to help work through those critical thinking skills, build those communication skills, connect with industry, create those experiences, they start to create that foundation for starting to move forward and to build on. So if they want to go into law school, if they want to move into master's programs, it helps to create those skill sets. Even for moving into industry as well, it's helping to create better employees moving forward in terms of the skill sets that they're getting. Because not only are they working with a project mentor from industry in collaboration with our own faculty, this is a great synergy.
Perceptions of police legitimacy based off of generations. So I put out a survey for basically anybody to do, and then categorize them into generations, and I'm looking to see basically if they believe that the police do their job correctly and do their job well.
To learn more about the Justice and Human Services Center program, Lethbridge Polytechnic will hold its winter open house on March the 15th. Former Mayor of Lethbridge, Chris Spearman, says he's releasing a letter to Premier Danielle Smith demanding a clarity of the environmental effects of the proposed Grassy Mountain coal mining project. He says in the letter he's seeking clarification from statements made by Smith, Minister of Energy Brian Jean, and others based on logistical, legal, and business decisions in moving forward with the project. This comes as the Alberta Energy Regulator is allegedly days away from making a decision if Northback Holdings can move forward with metallurgical coal mining in the mountains near Crow's Nest Pass.
We've outlined 8 issues and asked for answers from the Premier on behalf of Albertans, and we want to share the answers with them. We have gone out and we have accessed the research reports from the government itself. We were surprised to find that the government's own reports actually agree with us that substantial contamination will happen with selenium and with coal-blown dust that will affect our river.
As the municipality of Crow's Nest Pass voted in favor of supporting the project, Chris Spearman said on Thursday that his petition signed by those opposed have neared 5,000 signatures. Well, Thursday marked the annual Care from the Heart Radioathon held at Chinook Regional Hospital Atrium. The Radioathon ran nearly all day on Thursday with doctors, nurses, and frontline staff getting the opportunity to tell their stories live on air. The Chinook Regional Hospital Foundation says they are aiming to raise more than $400,000 to support any immediate needs at the hospital or other nearby community health centers.
Well, this year we're back live in the atrium at the Chinook Regional Hospital for the first time in 5 years. So we are so excited to be here with all 6 of our radio stations coming together to support the Hospital Foundation to purchase equipment, special projects, and programs for the Chinook Regional Hospital and surrounding area. We just received an amazing check for $160,788 from Costco and the members in Southern Alberta who made such a difference. That donation is a matching donation, so every donation is doubled in the value.
As of airtime, they have surpassed their goal of $400,000, reaching $462, and they are accepting donations until Thursday evening. So congratulations to them. That is your Forum Daily West report. I'm Jeanette Roche. Thanks so much for watching.